A few days ago, when this ridiculous story got out there that nearly every single mainstream outlet started running with, that the Marvels had one of the lowest budgets in MCU history, I immediately called it out for what it was. Absolute bullshit. There was no way it could possibly be true. According to Vanity Fair, they said the Marvels had a budget of $130 million. And within hours of that being published, I called it out. The Vanity Fair article is just wrong. Disney filed paperwork disclosing they'd spent $130 million after just 2 months of filming, not counting the next 7 months of production or post-production or anything like that. It's a joke to assume that it's only $130 million. I made a video about it where I specifically showed the receipts, and it only took the mainstream media 24 hours to catch up. Captain Marvel 2, the Marvel's budget is one of the most expensive in MCU history. How quickly things change. Take a look at this. After Vanity Fair claimed the Marvels clocked in with a $130 million budget, Forbes now shares the movie's budget is an enormous $274 million, and they're still not done because that is also out of date. That doesn't have the up-to-date numbers. That only goes through September of last year. Let's start getting into this because it's so laughable. The idea that anybody ran with that story, that it was $130 million, all you had to do was a basic search or maybe keep up to date with this movie and realize that they'd said they spent $130 million only 2 months into production. But no, everybody tried to run with it. Now, the story's much different. The Marvel's incredibly expensive budget. According to Forbes, the official budget for the Marvels is over $274.8 million, making it one of the most expensive MCU films to date. This comes a bit of a surprise, seeing how the movie's only rumored to be about 100 minutes in length, but the high cost is likely due to the extensive VFX work that will go into bringing it to life. Also, they did multiple rounds of reshoots as well. Just have to put that out there. However, Forbes also reported that Disney received a $55 million subsidy from the UK government while making the film, which would bring the total amount spent to around $220 million. And that's true in terms of what they've reported as of now. Disney spent over $270 million to make the Marvels. They show that over the 2-year period, from the start of production all the way to September 30th, 2022, it spent $274.8 million and banked a $55 million subsidy because the movie was made in the UK. This brought its net spending down to $220 million. Even this Forbes article, though, is just flat out wrong. Look at what they say here, meaning the movie will have to gross at least $439.6 million to break even as studios get around half the theater takings. You're not even accounting for marketing. How fucking retarded is the mainstream media? Congratulations, glad you get access to all these numbers so quickly, but even you are too fucking stupid to understand that they're going to spend likely around $100 million more in marketing. But the funny thing is, this isn't even the whole budget. Look at what it says. They have to file at the end of the fiscal year. That's why these things are like this. September 30th, 2022, they'd spent $274 million. They've still done work on this movie since then. In fact, they've still done reshoots since then. All the way back last year, they revealed that they were doing another significant round of reshoots in January. This still doesn't account for a lot of post-production, a lot of VFX work, and the multiple reshoots that they underwent. So by this time next year, we might actually find out what the total number spent was. My guess, I've always maintained this, my guess was that the Marvels will end up spending over $300 million on this movie, and because of the tax credits, because of the subsidies in the UK where it's being filmed, they'll probably get the overall what they spent on it down around $250 million. Maybe. We'll see what happens. I think that's pretty easily justifiable considering how much VFX and stuff that $300 million is likely what they're going to have to spend. $250 will probably be when it's all said and done. That's insane. This movie has a $250 million budget, just like Thor Love and Thunder, just like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. But this movie, I think people expect to fall well short of those in terms of the box office. And then I think you have to add another $100 million for marketing. That's low compared to what they've been doing. That's being very fucking conservative right now. We'll say 250 conservative number and $100 million conservative number. That's $350 million minimum that Disney has tied up in this when it's all said and done. Which means once you take about half the theatrical number, half that box office number that goes to the studio, You're talking about $700 million just to break even. This is a nightmare scenario. This is why when these articles came out, I called bullshit immediately. Congratulations, mainstream media, on being 24 hours late to the party. Incredible. That probably means you're getting better, to be honest with you. But the reality for the Marvels is that it's not one of the cheapest in history. It's one of the most expensive movies they've ever made, and we still don't know what that final bill is yet. What do you guys think about this? It certainly looks, even if this thing makes over $500 million worldwide, that it still will be a massive financial failure for Disney. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.